Welcome to the Tiger Football Report, where today we will preview the Tigers game against the William and Mary Tribe. Get ready, Tiger fans. The Tiger Football Report starts now.
And here we have 1893 from the makers of Pepsi Cola. I'm gonna swirl it. I'm gonna smell it. I'm just gonna take one small sip.
Kinda seemed like more than a sip.
Yeah, let me show you. Refined.
1893, made with cola nut extract and real sugar. Boldly blended colas.
For an athlete, there's nothing scarier than a torn ACL.
Athletes trust us with their care and their careers because we're a recognized leader in sports medicine.
Get back to your active life sooner with MedStar Sports Medicine.
Wise Market's ice cream plant is based in Sunbury, Pennsylvania, and locally owned and operated. We've been making our ice cream for nearly 50 years. We create roughly 70 flavors of ice cream right now. We use local ingredients, especially our cream, which is from our milk plant. The cream is what gives our ice cream a rich and creamy texture. Now, together with our customers, we've created a product called Peanut Butter Indulgence, which will be coming out this summer. It's a peanut butter ice cream with sea salt caramel swirl and chocolate-covered pretzel. How could you go wrong with that? Personally, I love our ice cream. If you come to our house at any given time, you'll find at least 5 packets of ice cream in our freezer. Our kids grew up eating Wise quality ice cream, and now we get to treat our grandchildren to it. It's been a pleasure for me to be tasting ice cream for over 40 years for Wise Markets, and I'm loving every minute of it.
Hello and welcome inside the Towson Sports Network studios for today's episode of the Tiger Football Report. I'm your host, Spiro Morekas. The Tigers coming off a 23-6 win over Elon as they prepare for their home finale against the Tribe of William and Mary. As always, I'm joined by the head coach of the Tigers, Rob Ambrose, and Coach, William and Mary, a team that perennially is fighting for the playoffs. This year doesn't look that way. They're 4-5, 2-4 in the conference. You now have finally gotten that first conference victory and hope that your team can get on a roll to finish up this season. But as you know, when you face a Jimmy Laycock team, you're going to feature a team that's hard-hitting, physical, and fundamentally sound.
This is indeed true. That this coach is somebody special now. That it's a long, storied career. And the reason is they find a way to do it right all the time. And they've had some injuries this year, and they're playing some younger guys, and probably not the happiest with their quarterback play. It's been a little inconsistent versus who they've played. And that guy's he's a veteran. But you can pretty much throw the records out every week. I know I say that all the time, but it really doesn't matter. Anybody can beat anybody on any given day in this league. It's just too good. So the advantage for us will be that they're coming here.
You talk about their quarterback, Cluley, and he is a veteran. Early in the year, he was throwing a lot of interceptions. He's certainly improved over the past few weeks. He's a guy you faced a couple of times, so you know him well. He does have strong attributes, or Jimmy Laycock wouldn't have had him starting for the last 3 years.
No, he's a good quarterback, but you know, when someone like you sees the numbers and somebody like me sees the film, wrong routes, tip balls, you know, things that are clearly not under your control. You're throwing the ball in time to where you think he's supposed to be, and he falls down. Or it's three-step, and you know the guy's wide open, the defensive end gets his finger on the ball, and the flutters, and all of a sudden it's an interception. And those things can screw with your confidence. You know you're doing the right thing, but the result's coming out the wrong way. And then you start to question yourself. And in that position, that is the one thing you can never do. The minute you start questioning yourself, they will feel it around you, and all of a sudden things aren't as tight as they're supposed to be. So he's really picked it up in the second half of the season, and I expect him to be on point come Saturday.
Anderson, the running back, averaging just about 5 yards a carry. He's another dangerous weapon that they have.
Their run game has gotten severely better in the last 2 years. They've always had talent, but they've had that 1-2 punch at tailback was physical and fast. And with those two guys competing all the time, there's no break for a defense. Not to mention their offensive line is pretty mature, pretty strong, and pretty big.
You guys coming off a victory, and I know practice has to be a lot better now, getting that positive feeling going into practice for the first time in really almost 2 months. But at the same time, sad for your seniors in knowing that this will be the final week that they play at Johnny Unitas Stadium.
It is. This is really, it's tough for these guys. It's tough for me. It's tough for the staff. To see these young men who have given so much in the name of the institution, the football program, stuff that nobody ever sees. Everybody just sees football players on the field, or maybe you see them on campus walking to class, but nobody can truly appreciate the hours they keep, the physical rigors they have on their body, the time management skills they need to have to get through a packed day just so they can participate in the game that they love so much. So for them, for what they've done, and they've seen it all now, from the national championship to rough seasons and somewhere in between, you got to kind of love these guys. That they've stood up and said, I want to represent this school. And they've done it really, really well. They've done it consistently. And they're going to be great alums in the future. That's pretty cool.
You look at one guy who continues to move up the charts. He's now 16th all-time in pass receptions. That's Andre Dessenberg. Came here as a highly touted freshman, and he was on that team that went to Frisco. Talk about Andre a little bit and what he's meant to this football program.
Talk about a quality young man. This is a guy that's come from humble beginnings and has a daughter and has done an amazing job balancing both his personal life in this and helping raise her and taking care of his responsibilities academically and football-wise, knowing that the best way to do that would be to make sure that he gets his degree and using the game of football to get that done. Great ball player, great with the ball in the air. I used to joke around that he's the worst receiver we've ever had with the ball in his hands. But he's proved me wrong this year. He actually made somebody miss on Saturday. But if you go up in a crowd, he's usually going to come down with the ball. And he's done a great job mentoring some of our young kids.
Your defense over the last 3 weeks has really, really improved. New Hampshire, you held them to 1 touchdown defensively. Delaware, they played well for most of the game, maybe wore down a little bit. And then this past week against Elon, you don't give up a touchdown. What's been the change these last 3 weeks in the defense?
Consistency. The ability to understand our assignments, execute our assignments, and run to the football as a group. That was it. If one guy can make a play on defense and the defense looks good, but if one guy's off and the other 10 are right and they hit you in the right spot, it really, really hurts. And we've done a much better job playing defensive team-style football with everybody to the ball. We've been more aggressive, we've been a little bit more physical, and we've tackled better, especially in space. And that's something that we really didn't do well early in the season, but we've done a much better job in the second half of the season, and I expect that to continue.
All right, that will do it for us. We will be inside Johnny Unitas Stadium at noon when the Tigers take on the tribe of William and Mary. Game brought to you by Pepsi. Coach Gordy Combs and I will have the game for you starting at 11:05 on CBS Sports Radio 1300. It's also on the American Sports Network. All right, Coach, you mentioned guys that went through the program, saw lows, saw highs. Frank Beltry. When I say Frank Beltry, what do you think of?
Oh, there's a whole lot I could say here that I probably, Frank, you're watching, there's a whole lot I could say that you don't want me to say. I don't know if I can think of off the top of my head somebody who loved his team and loved this program as much as Frank did. I mean, like to the point where he violently loved this. And if you didn't love it like he loved it, he didn't like you, and he wasn't very shy about telling you. And he loved rushing the passer. He loved playing football.
And he's still doing it.
He's still doing it in Canada and doing quite well. And Frank's incredibly opinionated, pretty smart too, but a combination of Dominican and Spanish. Whatever he tells you, it's got an accent in it. You're going to smile, I promise.
All right, that will do it today for us in the Tiger Football Report. For head coach Rob Ambrose, I'm Spiro Morekas. Hope to see you at the U, and as always, go Tigers.